A valid marriage requires the consent of both individuals. To consent to marriage, an individual must have capacity. In Edmunds v. Edwards, the court explores whether a cognitive impairment makes someone incapable of consenting to marriage. Harold Edwards had a cognitive impairment and lived in a state-run home for 30 years. While there, he met fellow patient Inez Ryan. Harold was released from the home, but he remained under the supervision of a community organization. He got a job as a food service worker at a hospital and moved into an apartment. Harold and Inez began a romantic relationship and decided to marry. With family and friends in attendance, the couple wed in May of 1975. 2 years later, Harold's guardian, Renne Edmunds, claimed that Harold lacked mental capacity and sought to annul the marriage. An annulment is a declaration that a marriage was invalid and never occurred. The guardian claimed that Harold lacked mental capacity when the couple wed. The court held a hearing on the guardian's petition. The expert medical witness agreed that Harold had a mild cognitive impairment, but they disagreed over whether he had adequate mental capacity to consent to marriage. The guardian's psychologist testified that Harold's cognitive impairment meant he lacked the capacity to marry. In addition, lay witnesses described how Harold had difficulty managing his finances, and they cast doubt about whether Harold understood the financial impacts of marriage. Other testimony, however, suggested that Harold did have capacity. A psychologist who had known Harold for years testified that Harold didn't want to be lonely and demonstrated an understanding that marriage is a lifelong commitment to a spouse. Also, a minister explained that he had counseled the couple about marriage and sexuality before their wedding and said that he believed Harold understood. The trial court concluded that Harold had adequate mental capacity to marry. Harold's guardian appealed to the Nebraska Supreme Court.